Alright, in 7 days' time, we've got the biggest race that I've ever been a part of. The Australian Wingless Sprint Championship. And it's at Premier Speedway. There's about 115 cars turning up, so it's a massive event. And as you can see, I've got some work to do. Alright, so this is the list of stuff I've got to get done. Got to start scrubbing a few things off this list. The only thing I've managed to scrub off that list so far is I managed to get me medical and get me Speedway medical. We've got to have a medical every 12 months to get our licence. Managed to get that organised, got me licence renewed, and pretty well everything else I haven't even touched yet. So, while the car's sitting there like that, for a start, I'm going to do the gear ratio. So Premier Speedway's, it's a big bank, not even that big, but it's got a lot of bank in the track. Very, very fast around the joint. There's not much that feels better than being wide open around Premier Speedway. It's a pretty good feeling when you get it right. But we've got to change gear ratios. So that's a pretty simple one. We'll get that one crossed off the list. So another problem we've got with these cars, let me find a rag, is the injectors, the fuel injectors. They're forever blocking up. So my lovely wife took my injectors into work this morning, and we've got them all cleaned up, ready to go back in. So another question I get about these things all the time, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, is what this motor is. Mainly from people in the US who they run in their wingless sprints pretty well whatever you want, I think, but yeah, normally 410 cubic inch V8s. Here in Australia in our wingless sprints, we run this V6, which is out of a VN, VP, VR Commodore. Local car, local GM car here. Which is more or less the same as the Buick V6, so the US Buick V6. In fact, over here it's known as a Buick V6 a little bit. So run pretty well standard motor. Running on methanol, which is what creates all these hassles with these injectors. They don't like running on methanol. We're allowed to chip the computer, so like we used to run the standard EFI system and we chip the computer to suit running on methanol, and what injectors we're using. These particular injectors are out of an earlier series of the engine that flow a bit more than the rest of them. So yeah, keeps the cost down, keeps the class competitive. The class I used to race, we used to run a little straight six, and the motors cost twice as much and only went just as well, basically. Keeps it competitive, keeps it even. Injectors in. I would fire it up, but I've got a couple other jobs I've got to do before we do that. Change the oil and filter and do something about that air filter. It got ran over the other week. So. that's going to be it for today. I've got to go out for tea, so going to get organised. Hopefully tomorrow's a big one and we get most of the rest of it buttoned up. There'll be some odd jobs I've still got to do. I still haven't got all my parts yet, but hopefully by the time the title comes around on the weekend, we'll be sweet to go.